we're going to continue by reading in the board. So here's that same code. We read in the first line, and now we're going to read in the rest of the lines. So let's go ahead and just keep this bingo.txt open. So we're going to keep reading. We want to read in a board. So the way we're going to set this up is that the board is actually going to be a list of lists of numbers. So, the first list will be the first row, the second list will be the second row, and so forth. So a board will be 5 lists of numbers. So that's what it'll be. And so now what we're going to do here is now we're going to iterate through each line, starting with the very next one. So we're going to go to this next one, which is actually a blank line. And we're going to, so we're going to use this for loop. We learned that the f is iterable. You can iterate through files one at a time. It's just going to begin at the very next line, not at the beginning. And so what we're going to say is, if the line is a new line character, so we're going to do something. And actually before that, we're going to create a boards to be an empty list. So there are many boards. I think there are, okay, so there's 600 lines divided, I guess, really divided by 6. There's 100 boards over here. Each board will be a list. So by the end of this will be 100 items. And each item will be a list of numbers, will be a single board. All right, so if there's a new line character, right, if it equals a new line, that means we have a new board. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a board, which will be an empty list itself. And then it'll continue on. So otherwise, if it's not a new line, that means it is a line with numbers in it. So what we're going to do here is something very similar to this. We're going to say that we're going to read in, now it's called line, not nums. Okay, and we're not going to split it on a comma. There's no commas there. We're just going to have an empty. So by default, the split method works on spaces. All right, so we're going to split this on spaces. So this will create 5 strings, and we have to convert it to a string again over here. So this is going to be one row. So you can say like this. This is a row, and we can say board.append row like this. All right, good. Now, what we're going to do here is, the last thing we can do here is boards.append. So we're actually going to append the entire board to boards like this. So we're going to keep adding new boards. So only when it sees a new line will it wipe it away, and it'll say, all right, now we're going to start it with a fresh board. And then for that board, we're going to keep adding to it 5 rows at a time. And when it comes to a new line, it'll reset and it will append it. So notice that it looks like we're appending an empty board here, right? But this board is getting mutated down here. So yes, we do append an empty board, but then it will continue to grow down here, and so it'll still work. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. So nums we know, here is nums, and if you use the print statement, it'll put it horizontally, so it'll save some space instead of putting it all the way down like that. And then the boards will be a list of numbers. So this will be very, so there's a bug in my code. This should be outside of the loop. So otherwise it'll keep on creating a new empty list for each line. So that wouldn't work. All right, so here are the boards. And so there should be 100 of them. And if we want to look at one of them, let's look at the first board. So this is the first board. It is a list of lists, right? So here's that first row, 50, 98, 65, 14, 47. And you go over here, it is just these numbers right over there. We can look at another one. Let's just say this is really the 51st board. That is this one. And we can look at the very last one, the 100th board, which is this one. Okay, so those are our bingo boards, and these are our numbers. Upcoming, we will see how we can one by one, draw these numbers and determine which board has 1.